So yes, it looks like the new Diablo 4 client patch is much more than we first expected, as explained by Blizzard today. And we have even more confirmations from the Diablo 4 dev team about seasons that you probably did not know about. Plus, things are changing at the actual Diablo 4 studio. We've got a new dev, and he's working on some very interesting things for Diablo 4's future. And our Destiny 2 players ruining the Diablo 4 experience with their feedback. And is Blizzard really holding back quality of life improvements just to have hot fixes and updates to keep us all busy? Or is this a complete stretch? And it looks like there's a hidden but very brief in-credit scene that you most likely missed. But what does it mean for the future of the game? We'll talk about that one. And it took 1,500 attempts for this to happen, for this to be accomplished. You won't believe what this Diablo 4 player pulled off. Well, he did the absolute impossible. But yeah, check this out right here. So as we all know, Diablo 4 is an online game, so preventing disconnects due to lag and network instability is super important. No one wants to disconnect or experience lag, especially when they're in the middle of fighting a world boss. And that's why I wanted to tell you about this very useful tool that prevents this from happening. Now, this tool is called Exit Lag. Now, Exit Lag will prevent and address any lag issues and packet loss that you may experience, and not only will it do this for Diablo 4, but hundreds of other games as well. Now, you can see Exit Lag working in action right here. You'll notice without Exit Lag, this player runs into some serious lag and then disconnects. But with Exit Lag, they're able to prevent the lag and prevent the disconnect from even happening. Now, how does Exit Lag prevent lag and disconnects, you ask? Well, you simply select the game you want to prevent lag in, click on the red Apply Routes button, and Exit Lag will automatically optimize the data between your computer and the game server, which will reduce network latency, prevent lag, and potential disconnects. There's even an FPS boost setting as well to help improve your gameplay performance, so that combined with the anti-lag features will make for the ultimate smooth online experience. And yes, there are even more advanced settings for those of you who want to get into the technical bits of it and really customize the settings to your liking, such as the ability to prioritize game traffic, which will prevent other applications on your PC from interfering with your game ping. So check out Exit Lag right now and get up to a 44% discount on the Exit Lag annual subscription when you click on my link in the description below. And a huge thanks to Exit Lag for supporting my channel and for improving my online gameplay experience. All right, so yeah, we're going to start out with the official stuff first. So guess what? We're going to head on over to Twitter. We have this one from Ken who says, "Why is it taking so long to get that meaningful balance patch that was confirmed on stream last Friday? When is it coming?" And Adam Fletcher of Blizzard says this, "We said in the coming weeks. It's been less than a week since the stream. It isn't just a balance patch and has many other components to it. And as noted, it requires us to submit it to first parties, console partners as well." So yes, this patch is going to be much more significant than we first thought. We thought it was going to be mainly for balance adjustments. Of course, we do know that they're very interested in buffs this time around, so I think that's going to excite a lot of people, of course. Can't wait to get the details about that one. That 13-page document has me extremely curious. But yes, it is confirmed to expect a lot more than just balance adjustments, and we should hopefully be hearing more and more about a final release date for this patch. I'm crossing my fingers that it does actually drop in early July. Now that's me speculating, but we'll see what happens. All right, so let's keep going here. We have this one right here from Ghosted, who says, "In Diablo 4, what cosmetics transfer game-wide? If I get the Spectral Horse mount on the Eternal Realm, does that transfer over to Seasonal Realms or vice versa? Also, do gear cosmetics found in-game transfer from Eternal to Seasonal Realms?" Great question, and the response is this: cosmetics do transfer. However, we do have a follow-up here. It says, "Awesome, glad to hear, thanks for the reply." Now, Adam Fletcher does say this: "I do want to clarify the mount cosmetics should transfer over, but let me fully be sure. In the morning when people are back in, the gear items you salvage from one mode probably won't. We'll follow up tomorrow with you." It is tomorrow. Where is the reply? So hopefully he does get back to us in more detail. I will definitely keep you guys in the know, of course. But Steven has an announcement today. Check it out right here. This is actually pretty big. From Steven Stewart, who says, "Super happy to announce that I'm joining the Diablo 4 team as an associate class designer. It's a pretty exciting time to be joining the team, and I can't wait to do my part to make this the best possible Diablo game and keep evolving as a designer. This is significant news, and I think means that we should be seeing new adjustments coming to either current classes that has been confirmed that they would be interested in adding new skills to the existing classes, of course, but also that could mean that he might be helping out here with new classes coming up. Now, if you're wondering about his history, he has previously worked on, guess what? If you scroll down here, as associate game designer, he worked on Diablo Immortal, so he has a lot of experience with handling the creation and balance of items, legendary, and sets, and development of new classes, as well as the balance of existing classes. Additionally, he handled updates to systems like the faction-based cycle of Strife, Paragon, and Battleground PvP. So he is very experienced, of course, with this franchise at this point, and I'm curious to see what type of adjustments we will be seeing to mostly the existing classes. I'm really hoping, again, like I've said previously, they tap into things that really draw out the power of skills that would otherwise not be used in the end game. I want to be able to revisit stuff that I was using in the mid game or even earlier in the game and make it viable in the end game. So I'm hoping he's there for that purpose as well. Now, Icy Veins also announced this on their Twitter and website. Check it out. It says it seems that Diablo 4 has a special hidden and brief post-credits cutscene and may be hinting at what's next and is fairly cryptic about it. So let's take a look. We're not going to take a look, by the way, because some of you probably consider this spoilerific, but I am going to throw that link in the description below. But come back to me. Let me know what you think about it. I wanted to show you this because I'm assuming that many of you actually missed this. From the comments and replies to this tweet, a lot of people were like, oh, I didn't even know this existed. And it's interesting because for some people, or a lot of people, it seems like this never even played for them, or it was so very brief they didn't even notice it. But it does seem to tease towards the potential of post-launch content. So yeah, check it out. All right, we have an official announcement, of course, from Diablo. Check it out. It says 1,000 Diablo 4 hardcore heroes evaded death. Their achievements will be celebrated for eternity in the halls of Blizzard. A full list of names will be shared in the coming days. So yes, this is about that Lilith statue. This is amazing. This statue is so much bigger than I anticipated. As you could see, it's at the Blizzard campus right here. But also, Adam Fletcher from Blizzard posted this. Lilith forever on the Blizzard campus. Look at this. Can you imagine having your name etched into this statue? What an accomplishment. I cannot wait to see further coverage on this one. And speaking of accomplishments, you guys have got to check this one out right here. Mateus the Gamer says this: after 1,500 attempts, I kid you not, I finally killed Uber Lilith. Thanks for an epic fight that took years off my life. And check out this crazy clip. You can see the intensity on his face as he's battling Uber Lilith here, and also the intense disbelief of what he has actually accomplished. This is incredible. Dude, I hope he got some good drops on that one. But yeah, that is absolutely incredible to be able to solo, of course, Uber Lilith, but congratulations to him big time. But yeah, we got to keep going and talk about this one right here. Are Destiny 2 players and their feedback getting in the way of what Diablo 4 is supposed to be and what it needs to be going forward? Check out the post right here. It says, stand strong, brothers and sisters. Hold the line from the Destiny community trying to change Diablo to fit their playstyle. Furthermore, it says, so over the last few days, I've seen a few of the Destiny 2 content creators I follow making content talking about making Blizzard change how Diablo 4 works when it comes to the season model. They don't like the idea of having to make a new character. Some are advocating for Blizzard not to do it, and their fans are pushing it. Some have never played Diablo before and are in full anger mode about having to create a new character, all because they don't want to make a new one. So I gotta know, are you guys really upset once again about what's going on with seasons, how you have to create a new character? I think one of the biggest problems with seasons isn't the fact that you have to create a new character necessarily. I think that's still gonna rub people the wrong way, though, some people. But mostly I think it's the fact that people that are more casual about this game, that haven't even finished the campaign and want access to the battle pass even when they're trying to finish up the campaign, cannot get access to that battle pass in the Eternal Realm. So I think that's where a lot of the controversy also lies. And I think that's where a lot of players are also frustrated. So yeah, that's what I pick up on about this as well, because I think that there's going to be a lot of cool content in that battle pass, and people are like, why do I have to create a new character? I just want to finish the story. I don't want to have to start over. But then again, I say to those people, hey, why not try a different class? You know what I mean? That's how I feel about it. But yeah, let me know. Everyone's different. Some people are more casual, and yes, some people do come from Destiny 2, of course. But I myself, I'm excited to hop into seasons. I think overall, in the long term, they're going to be very beneficial to the in-game that is experienced in the Eternal Realm. And I think it's going to be a wait-and-see type approach where you're like, oh, wow, so this is the thinking behind seasons. I get it now. Now, we got to talk about how it seems like to some people that Blizzard is purposely holding back quality of life improvements. This is quite the accusation, so let's go ahead and check it out here on Reddit. Check it out. It says, Blizzard has a nasty habit of withholding quality of life for no apparent reason. It says, hello, I would like to draw some much needed attention to Blizzard's horrendous design habits, especially when it comes to Diablo 3 and 4. Whoa, shots fired. It says, Diablo 3 had a stash limit once. Eventually, they allowed you to buy a lot more, and I think they added an additional one every time you completed a season. But this took a lot of convincing for some reason, and now all that convincing hasn't been carried over to the same degree in Diablo 4. Now, let's pause it there. Do you guys think that with seasons, if you do complete a season or if you participate in a season, that you should just automatically be rewarded with more stash space? Sound off if you think that's actually a good idea or not. Now it says, why? Why not just copy and paste the stash availability? Why does it hurt? What is the reasoning behind trying to limit it? Blood shards. So blood shards used to have a max cap of 500, and it took months, if not over a year, of complaining from the community for them to change it. And even then, they still couldn't stomach giving us unlimited blood shard storage. They tied it to a greater rift completion. We have the same thing with obols now in Diablo 4, but it's a hard cap again, and part of that cap is locked behind renown. Why? Why? It literally makes no sense unless you just assume contempt or complete disconnect from the actual player experience. We scroll down here. Material caps are in the same boat. Why have any of these in the game? Is it really using up that many resources to let them just stack infinitely as the players play? It's just a text number on screen, and they're changing all the time in the current state of a hard cap. This won't change if you remove it. I have to say the caps are so freaking annoying in many different ways. And that's one reason why I like the Souls franchise, because you can have like unlimited inventory, it seems. But anyway, every game's different. Now we have elixirs and nightmare sigils aspects taking up space. You have a freaking compendium of aspects already. Why not just expand it to allow us to store the ones we find in there? It should just serve as a library of all aspects we own, and we can open up a section and select the percentage quality. Now for nightmare dungeons, just make a library of sigils and go into a specific dungeon section and select one of your numerous sigils with different effects. Elixirs, the same thing, can make a nice looking potion storage, and we could sift through our accumulated brews. These are things that take very little common sense to come up with as better storage systems for key game features that not only remove a huge amount of inconvenience from the player, but actually feel good for the player to use. They can store as much as they want of the things they believe they need, instead of trying to weigh the pros and cons of what goes into what inventory slot because their account is full. I will say this. I did not expect them to handle sigils in the way they did, where they're like kind of like just reserved as an item. I found that so strange. I thought maybe you would have to like actually go to a dungeon entrance and then activate it or something. But it's kind of strange how you actually store this sigil right in your inventory with like a lot of other consumables. I find that kind of weird. So I think that definitely needs to be fine-tuned in the future. All right, next up it says, I can't imagine what internal studies are being used to cope about this. Now, players don't enjoy endless, tedious inventory management because the game is bloated with extra consumables, materials, upgrade items. 100% agree. nor do they enjoy having to salvage stuff they would rather have held onto for a future build just because they can't find the space to keep that one extra aspect item. They enjoy finding things they can use and holding on to them until they can use them. They don't enjoy making mule accounts. They don't enjoy having to go back to town to drop off some elixirs or sigils so they can grab the sigil that just dropped. They don't enjoy ditching aspects, sigils, elixirs to make room for nicely rolled gear they plan to use on a new character or for a different build. And I think the point of this is saying that a lot of time in this game that I'm also noticing is managing inventory. And I kind of dread it, to be honest with you guys. I kind of like, inventory is full again. What a pain. And I just try to have as much storage stash space back in town where I can just like drop stuff off, because I want to keep playing. Like, I want to keep going. I don't want to spend so much time sifting through inventory. What I do recommend whenever you pick up an item, I know many of you are probably this way, you instantaneously need to know if you're going to sell or junk that item. Like, it helps so much. So once you teleport back into town, boom, get rid of it, and then put the rest in your stash, and then you're good to go. For me personally, that takes up, or saves me a lot of time. Now we have the gym tab. Now it says gym tab was an obvious one that thankfully is getting a solution, but the rest of these need to be looked at too. I don't know why we're in the business of spiting the player base for literally no reason other than either a gross misunderstanding what players actually enjoy doing when it comes to character management, or actually just trolling your player base with contempt. Do you guys really think that they would be bold enough to troll their own player base? I feel like there was some miscommunication in the development process of Diablo 4 from Diablo 3, in that I think a lot of players were just expecting the quality of life improvements from Diablo 3 just to be automatically there in Diablo 4 at launch. It only makes sense. I have seen this many, many times happen with franchises, with games, and a lot of it deals with when a studio has a shift with their development and their stuff lost in translation. So that could be possible that has happened. Of course, it's been like 12 years since Diablo 3, but I think this has to be a learning lesson and should not happen in the future again. All right, we got to talk about this a little bit more. It says rework all these systems to be more serviceable and convenient, and players will stop complaining about them, saying, oh well, Diablo 3 was out for years and took a long time to polish everything isn't an excuse. You can draw on all of those years for the purpose of Diablo 4. We don't and shouldn't need to wait years for basic quality of life improvements prior iterations of the game series already tackled. These should be features that are so polished, they are the envy of the entire ARPG industry because of Diablo's popularity and lifespan from Diablo 1 all the way until now. Just do it. Stop being silly, spiteful, whatever the cope is. Your players will thank you for it. So, man, maybe you should give a speech to the development team. They'd probably be super encouraged by, I don't know. But yes, Diablo is like known as the ARPG. And I gotta say, they gotta keep up with current trends because there is a lot of competition anymore. You know, there's Path of Exile 2 coming up here, and I'm hopeful that a lot of these quality of life improvements happen more quickly than what we experienced previously with Diablo games, and that they are more in tune to that. They have stated that, yes, seasons will be about, of course, both the new content and quality of life adjustments, but it is their ultimate goal to get through the quality of life adjustments very, very quickly and those type of balance changes and updates so that you guys, the community, can look forward to just the new content. And you're like, whew, we got through all the quality of life stuff. Now we can just like look forward to tons and tons of new content. That's currently their goal right now. All right, now it's time to get into your top comments. Remember to leave a comment down below. It could end up right here in a future video. But guess what? We're going to start with my YouTube members. Thank you to those of you that have clicked that join button below the video and believe in what I do and support what I do for about it's like $2 a month. And you get access to some pretty cool emotes. I plan to expand that, by the way, with some Diablo 4 emoticons, so look out for that. But anyway, let's get into your comments here. So we have this one from the Rob Vlogs. I've seen your comments before. He says, from a fellow Rob, I just want to say thanks for this content. I don't have time to check Reddit, Twitter, and other forums for updates, so throwing these videos on while I'm multitasking has been fantastic. I got you, my fellow Rob. That is awesome to hear that these videos are that helpful. Always makes my day, and thank you, dude, for being a YouTube member and a supporter of my channel. That means the world to me. But let's get into your top comments for my most recent video as well, which is this one right here. It says, it's happening. Next major update. Devs respond about season backlash. There was quite a bit of backlash recently about the fact that, yeah, you got to start a new character in seasons. I'm down for it personally, but I also kind of get some of the concerns. So let's get into see what you guys had to say about this one, shall we? So we have Val2848 who says, for damage buckets, they can make it more intuitive by breaking up the stat page. They already break down all the boosts you have. They could group them based on which bucket they fall into. Could even have an extra grouping that shows the percentages for each bucket and how it affects overall damage. Yeah, you know, and they can kind of color code it as well a little bit better. So we already know that there's like a damage bucket for things like close enemy, injured enemy, that sort of thing, healthy enemies. And then you have like another separate damage bucket for things like vulnerable, which give you those big bonuses. To color code the damage buckets similarly when they're underneath the same damage bucket would be immensely helpful, I think, to newcomers and people trying to wrap their head around what is going on with damage in Diablo 4. Now, of course, we already have some color coding stuff going on with overpower, vulnerable, crit, that sort of thing, but I think they could do a lot more with it to kind of project what they are doing with damage a bit more. Now we have Morningstar who says that dagger is called Broodmother's Stinger. That is an awesome name. And it's from a unique elite enemy, that spawns in the overworld. It's a giant scorpion named Nine Eyes, the Broodmother. It's located in the ragged coastline east of the Iron Wolves encampment of Kazakhstan. So yeah, if you wanted that really cool visual flare of a poison dripping off your dagger, if you missed it, check it out in the previous video. But that is really cool. You just gave us the absolute answer on how you can actually get that dagger. But I want more weapons like that have more of a flare. I don't want them to overdo it because I do want that to still be very rare. But I'm going to say I do want more. I want the uniques to have an actual visual flare. I think that'd be very cool. Monkey Man goes on to say this right here. I would love to see sorcerer focus or element oriented, like an unstable spark that flickers for more cosmetic flare for each element. You got the right idea. 100% agree. As long as it's not too wacky, you know what I mean? Now, Engineer Wilkie81 says, I'm used to the season system with playing Diablo 3 and Path of Exile. I think one of the things many of the newer players don't realize is that the seasons is a way to try out new in-game content to see how it'll be received, and if it was received well, it'll likely get incorporated into the core game a couple seasons later for all to play. Now, that's how it's been in Path of Exile and other ARPGs. The expansion is usually for adding new story content, possible new classes, and other stuff that's for everyone to enjoy. There could be a season that runs alongside it with its own additional in-game mechanic for the season. The in-game will expand over time after seasons and with expansions. Exactly. I think it's going to take a little bit of time for people to understand what's going on with seasons. But you also have to remember seasons are designed for everyone. They're also designed for someone that's brand new to Diablo 4 coming into the game on year 2 or even year 3. So if you kept like going with seasons, for example, and having the same mechanics stack onto each other, and you're introducing this mechanic, that mechanic, and you keep going, because the idea with seasons is to bring a new mechanic for 3 months and then pull it back out of the game. So you're like, oh, you remember that season, you know, that was so memorable. But also at the same time, if a newcomer comes in 3 years down the road, they're not completely, absolutely overwhelmed by like 50 new mechanics that have been added on top of the base game. That's what's happened with Destiny 2. It's a big problem, and it's a big turnoff for anyone that is new to that franchise. And yeah, the devs have kind of thought this through a little bit, But again, for me, I'm hung up on the Battle Pass situation that Eternal Realm players will not get access to the Battle Pass. I don't even understand that from a business standpoint. It's kind of strange. But ultimately, it's to encourage you to go into Seasons and try it out. But there it is, the latest happenings around Diablo 4. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned here for more Diablo 4 news and updates, and I will see you all next time. Take care.